अम्मा बाद अल्लाह ताला का एहसान है कि उसने हमें एक मरतबा फिर अपनी याद में इंशाअल्लाह ख़ास अपने लिए और एक दूसरे के साथ ख़ास अल्लाह ताला की रज़ा हासिल करने के लिए बैठने की तौफ़ीक़ नसीब फरमाई। अल्लाह ताला इसको यहाँ आने को ख़ास अपने लिए बना लें और उसको कबूल फरमा लें। हदीस शरीफ में हुज़ूर अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने बताया है कि जब लोग ख़ास अल्लाह ताला के लिए, अल्लाह की रज़ा के लिए एक दूसरे के साथ मिलकर बैठते हैं, अल्लाह को याद करते हैं, तो अल्लाह ताला उन पर सकीना उतारते हैं और अपनी रहमत से उनको ढांप लेते हैं। और सकीने की एक ख़ासियत ये है कि उससे दिलों को सुकून मिलता है। जो दिल यहाँ वहाँ परेशानियों में घिरे हुए हों, उनको अल्लाह ताला ख़ुद अपनी जानिब से ख़ास सकीना नसीब फरमाते हैं, सुकून नसीब फरमाते हैं। हज़रत हकीम रहमतुल्लाह अलैह जिस फरमाते थे इसकी आयत इस हदीसी तफसीर में कि जिस तरह से पागल कुत्ता होता है, वो इधर उधर बुलाया हुआ बिलबिलाता हुआ फिरता है, उसको कहीं सुकून नहीं मिलता, तो ये सकीने का उलट है। और जिसको अल्लाह सकीना नसीब फरमा देते हैं वो सुकून और करार में आता है, ठहर जाता है। It is the mercy and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has once again gathered us, inshallah, without any purpose except for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us that those people who sit together and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala covers them with His mercy and sends down sakina upon them, tranquility upon them from the sky. And this sakina is something that when a heart is very disturbed, very preoccupied and goes here and there, is going berserk, this sakina gives it tranquility, it makes it stationary, it gives it peace. And in the explanation, Hazrat Muhaddithin have written that Hazrat Hakim used to explain to us that like a mad dog that keeps on going here and there and does not find peace and tranquility, that is the opposite of sakina. So when we are also very much busy in our worldly things, and there's things that are going right and there's things that are going wrong, and we are worried and concerned about future things, something is not happening according to our wishes, and our mind is constantly going around in these directions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by virtue of coming to a majlis or a sitting of zikr or remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it sakina, peace and tranquility, and it finds peace. We will inshallah complete Kitab al-Zakah tonight. Last few hadiths, 3 or 4 remaining. Last time a masala was told, which is that if somebody is in such a sickness in which they pass away, and if they in that sickness, of course they don't know if it is that sickness which is going to take their life, but later on if it is found out that it was that sickness in which they pass away, in such a sickness, if somebody gives something to somebody and that proves to be their sickness of death, then that thing that they have given to somebody, it will need to be returned and made part of their inheritance, and then the inheritance would be distributed according to the principles of Sharia. The other thing is that in that sickness, even if somebody wants to leave behind a will, it is permissible to do so, but only about 1/3 of their wealth. And in all their life, one kind of wasiyat, one kind of leaving a will is wajib, which is if somebody has any debts or somebody has to give some money to someone, then about that a person should leave a will that such and such debt, such and such payments need to be made. If I pass away, then from my inheritance such payments should be made first before the distribution starts to take place according to the rules of Sharia. Apart from that, if somebody wants to gift a part of their belongings to someone after they pass away, they can do so about 1/3 of their belongings or their assets, and it does not matter if they do so in health or in a sickness or in a sickness of death. About up to as much as 1/3 it will be valid. عن انس قال كان ابو طلحة اكثر الانصار بالمدينة مالا من نخله وكان احب امواله اليه بيرحاء وكانت مستقبلة المسجد وكان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخلها ويشرب من ماء فيها طيب. قال انس فلما نزلت هذه الآية لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون قام ابو طلحة رضي الله عنه الى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله ان الله تعالى يقول لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وان احب مالي الي بيرها وانها صدقة لله تعالى ارجو برها وذخرها عند الله فضعها یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم حیث اراک اللہ. فقال رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم بخ بخ ذلك مال رابح وقد سمعت ما قلت وإني أرى أن تجعلها في الأقربين. فقال ابو طلحة افعل یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم فقسمها ابو طلحة في أقاربه وبني عمه. Narrated by Hazrat Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu that according to having the orchards or the places where the gardens of date palm, who has the most or who has the most valuable, the most wealthy person among the Ansar was Hazrat Abu Talha radiallahu anhu, and among all his gardens or his orchards and all his assets, the most beloved to him was Birha, and this was right in front of Masjid Nabi Sharif sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would frequently go there and would drink its water. The water was tasty, was of a good taste. The Prophet ﷺ would drink that water. Anas radiyallahu anhu says that when this ayah of the Quran came, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, the more or less meaning of which is that you will not reach the station of bir until you spend from which you love. Hazrat Abu Talha radiyallahu anhu came to the Prophet ﷺ and said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said this, that you will not reach the station of bir or the station of goodness until you spend from what you love. And among all the things that I have, the most beloved to me is Birha. Therefore, this is sadaqah. I expect that it will become a reward for me in the hereafter, an asset for me. So therefore, the Prophet ﷺ decide about it, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows him or whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts in his mind. The Prophet ﷺ said that this is a very valuable and very beneficial property, and I have heard you and I have understood you, and I think that you should distribute it among your wealthy relatives or your needy relatives. As Abu Talha radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, I will do so. And then he distributed the that property among his relatives. Urdu میں I did not translate, right? I'll read the Urdu translation. حضرت انس رضی اللہ عنہ سے روایت ہے کہ کھجور کے باغات کے لحاظ سے مدینہ کے انصار میں سب سے زیادہ دولت مند حضرت ابو طلحہ انصاری رضی اللہ عنہ تھے، اور انہیں اپنے باغات اور جائیدادوں میں سب سے زیادہ محبوب بیرحا تھا. یہ مسجد نبوی کے بالکل سامنے تھا اور رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم اس میں تشریف لے جایا کرتے تھے اور اس کا نفیس پانی شوق سے نوش فرماتے تھے. حضرت انس رضی اللہ عنہ بیان فرماتے ہیں کہ جو قرآن مجید کی آیت نازل ہوئی لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون، یعنی نیکی اور مقبولیت کا مقام تم کو اس وقت تک حاصل نہیں ہو سکتا جب تک اپنی محبوب چیزوں کو تم راہ خدا میں خرچ نہ کرو. تو ابو طلحہ رضی اللہ عنہ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی خدمت میں حاضر ہوئے اور عرض کیا کہ یا رسول اللہ، اللہ تعالیٰ نے یہ ارشاد فرمایا ہے کہ لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون، اور مجھے اپنی ساری مالیات میں سے سب سے زیادہ محبوب بیرحا ہے. इसलिए अब वही मेरी तरफ से अल्लाह ताला के लिए सदक़ा है। मुझे उम्मीद है कि आखिरत में मुझे इसका सवाब मिलेगा और ये मेरे लिए ज़ख़ीरा होगा। लिहाजा आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम इसके बारे में वो फ़ैसला फरमा दें जो अल्लाह ताला आपके जहन में डाले, यानी जो मसरफ़ इसका आप मुनासिब समझें मुअय्यन फरमा दें। रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि वाह वाह, ये तो बड़ी नफ़अमंद और कारआमद जायदाद है। मैंने तुम्हारी बात सुन ली, यानी मैंने तुम्हारा मंशा समझ लिया। मैं समझता हूँ कि तुमको ये अपने ज़रूरतमंद करीबी रिश्तेदारों में तकसीम कर देना चाहिए। हज़रत अबू तलहा रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु ने अर्ज़ किया कि रसूल अल्लाह, मैं यही करूँगा। चुनांचे वो बाग उन्होंने अपने करीब रिश्तेदारों में और चचाजाद भाइयों में तकसीम कर दिया। तो इस हदीस से चंद बातें मालूम होती हैं। पहले तो ये बेरहा, ये बेर वैसे तो कुएँ को कहते हैं। बेर इज़ अ वेल। जनरली where there was a well, people would have vegetation or plantation growing right next to it. They would plant. So there is Bir Usman, which has also the garden of Mazra Usman radiallahu anh as well, even still exists in Medina. This Birha, the property of Abu Talha radiallahu anh, right now, because the masjid has expanded, right now it is in one of the walls of the masjid right now, towards the northern side, away from the Qibla, opposite from the Qibla. Qibla is in south. This is the northern side of the masjid, the northern wall of the current masjid. That is the place where Birha used to be, and there was also a garden with it. So the Prophet ﷺ really liked this place and used to go there and drink from its water. In the desert, those wells that have fresh, tasty water, they are very valuable. Plus this was a great mazra, a great place of vegetation where date palms were growing, and this was a very valuable property, because it is written in narrations that when this property was given off by Abu Talha radiallahu anh into his relatives, there was different names that are mentioned, and one of the shares, there was 3 or 4 or 5 people among which it was divided, and later on one of the shares was bought for 100,000 dirham or dinar. So it was very expensive. Yes, Muawiyah radiallahu anh is written here. Muawiyah radiallahu anh had bought the share of Hassan bin Sabit. So Hassan bin Sabit radiallahu anh was one of the Sahaba who got one of the shares from this property, and this share was in the time of Muawiyah radiallahu anh. Muawiyah radiallahu anh had bought it for 100,000 dirham. So the things that we should understand is that first is the ayah, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, which is a famous ayah, the first ayah of the 4th Sipara, that you do not reach station of bir. Bir is that station of goodness, the really beloved high station of goodness. So therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used this word at multiple places in the Quran. إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ لَفِي نَعِيمٍ وَإِنَّ الْفُجَّارَ لَفِي جَحِيمٍ. Those people who have bir, they are called abrar. This bir or bar, literal meaning is that person who fulfills the responsibility. Whatever responsibility was placed on their shoulder, they have fulfilled that responsibility. So in a way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the responsibility of sadaqah, the responsibility of doing good, it was fulfilled by these people. So this is the station of bir, and all sorts of good things, all virtuous deeds, they are included in bir. But one of the most important ones is, about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that you are not able to reach that station of bir completely, that station of goodness completely, is that until and unless you spend your beloved things, not all of them, but mimma, from them. So when you have to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you spend, not only go after and pick the useless things that you have, or the idle or extra money that you have, but also that money which you are in need of. Because in the tafsir of this ayah, it is written that every single money, every single kind of thing that a person is in need of, it is included in those beloved things. To some extent, a person has the love or the need of that thing. So spend from those things that you need yourself as well. But not all of it. Mimma tuhibbun, some of it, a part of it. So therefore, The Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, when they heard this ayah, and there's multiple stories. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu, when he listened to this ayah, when this ayah came, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he had a slave that he really liked, he loved. He gave it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for sadaqah. Similarly, there's other reports, and the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, understand this. Zayd ibn Haritha radiallahu anhu, he also gave something listening to this ayah, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just like in this case, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also took it from him and returned it to his son, the son of Zayd ibn Haritha. It is also written in narration that Zayd ibn Haritha also felt something in his heart that it was my sadaqah not accepted, that I gave it and it came back in my own family, in my own house. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam consoled him that it is accepted. So what we should understand is these two things. Number one, we should spend not only in terms of money, but in terms of whatever we have. So it's not only about money, it's about our capacities, it's about our intellect. Even in our children, if we want to dedicate one of our children to the knowledge of deen, to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should pick the best child, the child which has the most capacities. Contrary to, na'uzubillah, what we do, that child which we feel that we will not be able to do anything else, put them in the line of deen, that they will at least not do anything else, or they do this at least. So pick your best thing and give it in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, those things that are beloved to you, that are very dear to you. Hakim Akhtar rahmatullahi alayhi also used to explain a masala of tasawwuf from this. He used to say that your desires, they are very beloved to you. They are very close to you. It is hard to go against them. Spend those in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sacrifice those in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will get, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising Jannah, in a place of na'im, a place of blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, plenty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for spending and sacrificing your beloved desires in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But again, he also used to explain that this says mimma. Mimma means that not all of them have to be given up. Only the haram ones are supposed to be given up. Only the haram ones will be sacrificed in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The halal ones, you can use them, or those desires that you have, use them in a halal way. So if you have the desire to maintain a relationship, do it in a halal way. If you have the desire to seek comfort, do it in a halal way. And the haram part of it, sacrifice it, give it up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing that we should note is that what are these Sahaba doing? They are bringing this to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then placing their trust in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam decides, they are happy with it. Ya Rasulullah, this is our sadaqah, please accept it and do as you wish. And in two cases that we just talked about, the Prophet ﷺ returned it to the relatives of the same person. Now, don't think that the Sahaba were like us. If we gave something and it came back to our family, we will be the happiest person in the world. But the Sahaba, they were worried that is it even accepted? Is the Prophet ﷺ by a way returning it to us? So it was not pleasurable to them. It was something that created a question in their mind that, Ya Rasulullah, is our sadaqah even accepted? But they trusted the judgment of the Prophet ﷺ. They trusted the judgment of the Prophet ﷺ, and this is one of the key features of Sahaba, which made Sahaba Sahaba, which gave them such a special station in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the whole history of deen, that they would, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised this quality, that whatever the Prophet ﷺ says, they take it. They take it and they accept it and agree it and submit to it. This is the quality of the Sahaba. That is why the foundation of our deen lies on the Sahaba. Everything goes through the Sahaba. The Quran goes through the Sahaba. The Hadith goes through the Sahaba. The rulings of fiqh go through the Sahaba. Everything goes through the Sahaba. These were such submissive people to the Prophet ﷺ. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is that it should be understood that if our sadaqah or our spending or our charity is given to our own family members, then they are the first ones who deserve from our charity. The Prophet ﷺ, the hadith that we read last time, somebody who spends on their own family, the needy ones in your family, they are the first ones who deserve it. So even in zakat, the best recipients of your zakat are those who are poor people who are related to you, then your friends and others, and then the general public. Similarly, in sadaqat, it should not be that our relatives, our close people are poor and we are spending far and wide and worried about the whole world. It is, as we read last time, it is dual reward. If somebody spends on their relatives, that they get the reward of spending and charity, and they also get the reward of taking care of their relatives, which is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The second subject today, all these hadiths are about it. Inshallah, we'll read all of them together and then explain the points that are mentioned. عن عائشة قالت إن رجلا قال للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن أمي افتتلت نفسها وأظنها لو تكلمت تصدقت فهل لها أجر إن تصدقت عنها؟ قال نعم. وعن ابن عباس أن سعد بن عبادة توفيت أمه وهو غائب عنها فقال يا رسول الله إن أمي توفيت وأنا غائب عنها أينفعها شيء أن تصدقت به عنها؟ قال نعم. قال فإني أشهدك أن حائط المخراف صدقة عليها. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال إن أبي مات وترك مالا ولم يوصي فهل يكفر عنه إن تصدقت عنه؟ قال نعم. عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص أن العاص بن وائل نذر في الجاهلية أن ينحر 100 بدنة وأن هشام بن العاص نحر حصته 50 وأن عمرو سأل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن ذلك فقال أما أبوك لو أقر بالتوحيد فصمت وتصدقت عنه نفعه ذلك. پہلی حدیث حضرت عائشہ صدیقہ رضی اللہ عنہا سے روایت ہے کہ ایک صحابی نے رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی خدمت میں عرض کیا کہ میری والدہ کا بالکل اچانک اور دفعتاً انتقال ہو گیا اور میرا گمان ہے کہ اگر وہ موت واقع ہونے سے پہلے کچھ بول سکتی تو ضرور کچھ صدقہ کرتی، تو اب اگر میں ان کی طرف سے صدقہ کروں تو کیا اس کا ثواب ان کو پہنچ جائے گا؟ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے ارشاد فرمایا کہ ہاں پہنچ جائے گا. حضرت عبداللہ ابن عباس رضی اللہ عنہ سے روایت ہے کہ سعد بن عبادہ رضی اللہ عنہ کی والدہ کا انتقال ایسے وقت میں ہوا کہ خود سعد بن عبادہ موجود نہیں تھے، یعنی وہ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے ساتھ ایک غزوے میں گئے ہوئے تھے. جب ان کی واپسی ہوئی تو رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی خدمت میں انہوں نے عرض کیا کہ یا رسول اللہ، میری عدم موجودگی میں میری والدہ کا انتقال ہو گیا، تو اگر میں ان کی طرف سے صدقہ کروں تو کیا وہ صدقہ ان کے لیے نفع مند ہوگا، یعنی اس کا ثواب ان کو پہنچے گا؟ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا ہاں پہنچے گا. انہوں نے عرض کیا کہ تو میں آپ کو گواہ بناتا ہوں کہ میں نے اپنا باغ مخراف اپنی والدہ مرحومہ کے لیے صدقہ کر دیا. حضرت ابو ہریرہ رضی اللہ عنہ سے روایت ہے کہ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی خدمت میں ایک شخص حاضر ہوا اور اس نے عرض کیا کہ حضرت میرے والد کا انتقال ہو گیا ہے اور انہوں نے ترکے میں کچھ مال چھوڑا ہے جس کی کوئی وصیت نہیں فرمائی ہے، تو اگر میں ان کی طرف سے صدقہ کر دوں تو کیا میرا یہ صدقہ ان کے لیے کفارہ سیئات اور مغفرت اور نجات کا ذریعہ بن جائے گا؟ آپ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا ہاں. حضرت عبداللہ ابن عمرو ابن العاص سے روایت ہے کہ ان کے دادا عاص بن وائل نے زمانہ جاہلیت میں 100 اونٹ قربان کرنے کی نظر مانی تھی جس کو وہ پورا نہیں کر سکے تھے. تو ان کے ایک بیٹے ہشام بن العاص نے تو 50 اونٹوں کی قربانی اپنے باپ کی اس نظر کے حساب میں کر دی، اور دوسرے بیٹے یہ عمرو ابن العاص جن کو اللہ تعالیٰ نے اسلام کی توفیق دے دی تھی، وہ رسول اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم سے اس بارے میں انہوں نے دریافت کیا. تو آپ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا کہ اگر تمہارے باپ ایمان لے آئے ہوتے تو پھر تم ان کی طرف سے روزے رکھتے یا صدقہ کرتے تو ان کے لیے نفع مند ہوتا. These 4 hadiths that we read, one is from Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha. She narrates that a person came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked, Ya Rasulullah, my mother passed away suddenly and it is my thought that if she was able to say something before she passed away, she would have definitely given something in sadaqah. So if I do sadaqah on her behalf, will she get the reward? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes. In the second hadith of Hadith Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, that the mother of Sa'd ibn Ubadah radiallahu anh passed away in such a time that Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu anh himself was not there. He was in a ghazwa with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they came back, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that, Ya Rasulullah, my mother passed away when I was not here. So if I give sadaqah on her behalf, would it be beneficial for her? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yes. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, I make you a witness that I have given my garden of Mikhraf for my mother. Third hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a person came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said that, Ya Rasulullah, my father has passed away and he has left some inheritance about which he has not left behind a will. So if I give that in sadaqah, will that be a source of expiation of his sins? فَهَلْ يُكَفِّرُ عَنْهُ, will it become a kaffara? Will it become a expiation or erasing of his sins if I give it in charity on his behalf? The Prophet ﷺ said, yes. And this is a hadith, last hadith from Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anh, that his grandfather As bin Wail, who passed away, who was a non-Muslim, and he had promised or done a mannat or a nazar, which is that you promise that we'll do something. He had made this promise to sacrifice 100 camels, and he was not able to. He was not able to do it. So one of his children, one of his sons, Hisham ibn al-As, who was not a Muslim, when this mannat was made by his grandfather, then it was divided 50-50. So one of the sons did 50 camels, sacrificed 50 camels, but the other one, this Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anh, because he was a Muslim, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked that, Ya Rasulullah, this is the case. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if your father would have become a person of faith, would have said La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, then if you fasted on his behalf or given charity, it would have been beneficial for him. So from these hadiths we learn that good deeds, when a person passes away, they still benefit that person who has passed away. The Prophet ﷺ has said it clearly. It is something that we cannot refute. Only those people, na'uzu billah, and there's all kinds of people these days, there's people who refute the hadith altogether, the station of hadith altogether. They say that we do not believe in hadith. These people are not Muslims. Because if you do not listen to the hadith, and they say we only listen to the Quran. If you listen to the Quran and you do not listen to the hadith, it's not possible. Because the Quran tells you to follow the hadith. The Quran several places tells you to obey the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and clearly says that those people who do not listen to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and turn away, they are kuffar. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had warned us about those people, that there will be a time when people will be sitting in comfortable seating positions, and very comfortably, very luxuriously, they would say that we do not believe in the hadith, we will only listen to the Prophet, only listen to the Quran. So such people are non-Muslims, and we do not care about them. If they say that this is not valid, that somebody does a sadaqah or fast or any act of goodness on behalf of their passed away relatives, if they say that it does not hold any value, we will not listen to them, we will not give it any value, because we have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ right here in front of us that it does have value. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all these fitan. They constantly give, the last hadith clarifies it, because the last hadith, why did Hazrat bring this last hadith here? Because Hazrat, this was a specialty of Hazrat. He had done research on it, and he has mentioned it a little, that he has written on this subject in detail. The ghair muqallid people, the people who one hadith brigade, who say that we have one hadith and we'll listen to it, and then na'uzu billah turn away the all other things that they may find in the Quran or hadith. They are ready to reject it based on the one hadith that they may have found in Bukhari or Muslim. They are ready to reject everything else. This is also a wrong approach. So therefore, they say that the Quran says, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَازِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى. Nobody who has a burden, no holder of burdens will be able to hold the burden of someone else. That if somebody wants or thinks that their burden, someone else will lift their burden on the day of judgment, that is not possible. So that ayat is about kufr versus iman, that if somebody is a kafir, then they cannot be entered into Jannah. just because somebody spent in charity on their behalf after they passed away. There's several hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ which clearly tell us that if somebody passes away, this is a right of our parents also, that this is the whole purpose of the responsibility of the children, that they take care of the promises made by their parents. Why would the Prophet ﷺ tell us if that did not hold any value? If you extend this logic, then you would say that if the father did not fulfill their promises in this life, then children cannot lift that weight for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding the children to fulfill that responsibility. But when you are biased, then what you have in your mind and you only want to follow that, everything else does not make any sense to you. There is several proofs in the hadith that this sadaqah, isal, sending of sawab after somebody passes away, it does hold value. It is sent as gift packages to those who have passed away, and it decreases their punishment or increases them in their status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله الحليم الكريم سبحان الله رب العرش العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والغنيمة من كل بر والسلامة من كل إثم. لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا إلا قضيتها يا رب العالمين. يا أرحم الراحمين. Ya Allah, please forgive all our sins, major ones and minor ones. Ya Allah, make us your accepted slaves, those who are successful in your eyes, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us your special ones, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, make us stick to you firmly, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, make us those who stick to the sunnah of your beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and never give it up, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, whatever situation we are living in, Ya Allah, whatever we are dealing with from inside and outside, Ya Allah, nothing is hidden from you. Ya Allah, we present all the challenges before you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you are the creator of the world, its systems. Ya Allah, you are also our creator. And Ya Allah, whatever desires, Ya Allah, whatever we have within us and outside of us, Ya Allah, you are the creator of everything. And nothing is hidden from your knowledge, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we are presenting the whole situation before you. And Ya Allah, we are also presenting this wish and Ya Allah, this longing that Ya Allah, we want to become good slaves, Ya Allah. We want to become obedient slaves, Ya Allah. We want to become good slaves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you make it easy for us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you line up things for us, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, you line up our affairs of life for us, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, you align them to the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, following the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, making sunnah the lifestyle of our, the lifestyle of sunnah, making our lifestyle. Ya Allah, make it easy for us, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Do not put us in fitna and challenge in the matters of deen, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, whatever blessings you have done to us, Ya Allah, whatever freedom you have given to us, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we are not fully thanking you about it, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you are not fully thankful. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we seek, Ya Allah, protection from being thankless, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, protect us and save us from being thankless, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, save us from being thankless, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, save us from being faithless, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, save us from being, Ya Allah, disloyal to you, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, we eat from what you give to us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we wear from what you give to us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we all on all sides, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, from inside and outside, Ya Allah. We are surrounded by your blessings, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are so much used and habitual of your blessings, Ya Allah, that even if one tiny thing goes wrong, we really feel it, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are so surrounded by your blessings, and still, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we are such faithless people that, Ya Allah, we use your blessings to disobey you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we have raised our hands before you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, change our life, Ya Allah. Change our direction, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, give us the realization of who we really are, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, give us the realization of where we are coming from, what is our present, and where we are headed, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you have challenged people. If they want to run away from you, they can run away. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we cannot run away from you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there is simply no running away from you, Ya Allah. There is simply no escaping you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there is nobody except you for us, Ya Allah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Ya Allah, there is no one for us except you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, no one can take care of us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, no one can Provide for us, Ya Allah. No one can, Ya Allah, be our, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, our caretaker, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, nobody can forgive our sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we've raised our hands before you. Ya Allah, please forgive us. And Ya Allah, give us the best life, Ya Allah. That life which is successful and valuable, Ya Allah, in your eyes, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, please give us that honor, Ya Allah. Please give us that honor, Ya Allah. Accept that honor for us, Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, our teachers, our mashayikh, our parents, Ya Allah, and more than everyone else, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, they have a big right upon us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you grant them the best of reward from our behalf, Ya Allah, on behalf of the whole Ummah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us worthy students, worthy disciples, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we take their name, Ya Allah, make us worthy of that name, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us those who try to become worthy of that name, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we have made the face, Ya Allah, you grant us the reality, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, we sit before you, Ya Allah, there is no one that we can go to apart from you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you are our wakil, Ya Allah, you are our ilah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you are our Rabb, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, you are our only protection, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you are our only, Ya Allah, caretaker, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, there is no one that we can go to except for you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you listen to us, Ya Allah. Those hands that have been lifted before you, have been raised before you, Ya Allah, protect them from being, Ya Allah, raised before anyone else, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, make us those who come to the masjid regularly, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, solve all our problems here, Ya Allah, from your station, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, solve all our needs, all our, Ya Allah, affairs of life from here, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, make us those, Ya Allah, that whenever anything happens, Ya Allah, good or bad, they always turn to you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us the love of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, an immense love, an active, live love of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, fill our hearts to the brim with the love of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, grant us action upon his sunnah, Ya Allah. Make us live and die on the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Give us a very active connection with our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ya Allah, make us those who are constantly, Ya Allah, thinking about following the sunnah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and thus pleasing you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us those who have, Ya Allah, who have a very close connection with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who are very close to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, physically and spiritually. Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, make us, Ya Allah, the accepted ummatis of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Grant us accepted visits to the holy city of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, grant us accepted Hajj. Ya Allah, grant us accepted Umrah. Ya Allah, grant us accepted visits to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Ya Allah, Ya Allah, make us those who go there and come back and then go again and come back. And Ya Allah, frequent those places accepted fashion again and again. Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Whatever we could ask, please grant us that. Whatever we did not ask, we should have asked, please grant us that. Ya Allah, grant us all the goodness that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sought from you, and protect us from all the evil and the harms that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sought refuge from. Ya Allah, this is our dua, and upon you is reliance. Ya Allah, this is our dua, and from you is acceptance. This is our effort, and upon you is reliance. Please accept it from us, and do not turn us away empty-handed. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.